G'day, my name's Josh Sanford and today I want to talk a bit about rituals. Rituals are something that most of us have, whether they're religious or superstitious or just developed without any level of intentionality. It seems that rituals have a high place in our lives, in many of our lives. And I want to share with you a ritual that I had as a young kid. I grew up playing rugby league and despite what you may think, I wasn't always this muscular and athletic. I used to be a skinny white boy, and we would travel around with the rest of my team of skinny white boys to places all over Auckland and we would play these boys that were big and buff and athletic and fast and just muscular beasts. And week after week we would get absolutely thumped. The first half of the season, the closest we got to a win was 54 points to 6. And anyway, one day we turned up to play a game of rugby league, expecting a hiding once again, but we saw a beacon of hope. We saw in the other team a Pākehā, another skinny white fella, and we thought to ourselves, we've got a chance here. And so we got into the changing rooms and we psyched each other up. We had our conversation together and we went out there and played out of our skin. As a result, we won. We won 24 points to 22 and we were ecstatic. We had so much belief as a team, and the week after we shot out again to go and play another game of rugby league and got absolutely trounced, 60 points to nothing. We were totally demoralised, but yet we carried on. And a few weeks later we played another team, and again we spotted a white boy in the opposition, and we thought, man, we've finally got an opportunity to take another win. And we psyched each other up again, slapping each other in the changing rooms and carrying on. And we went out there and played with gusto, and we won 17 points to 16. We were over the moon. We were just overjoyed with the fact that we'd managed to pull another win out of the bag. And we sat down in the changing room and our coach said to us, boys, what is it that made you play with such belief today? Because if you played like that most weeks, you would probably win a number more games. And we just sat around looking at each other, looking at the ground, thinking really hard. And finally, I had this moment of revelation, this epiphany. And I said to the coach, Coach, I've just realised something. I was wearing the same pair of red undies for both of those games that we won. Needless to say, the room erupted with laughter. I got clipped round the ears from our coach. But ever since that game, every single week I got asked by my coaches and my friends, Josh, have you got your lucky red undies? And it became just the joke of the team. And sure enough, I'd wear my red undies every week just for a laugh, and I developed this ritual of wearing lucky red undies to the game. And it wasn't because we believed that they had any bearing on the outcome of the game, but it was funny. It was a joke. And so we went through the rest of the season every time asking, Josh, you wearing your undies? Yeah. It was a great laugh. We had a good time. But the thing is that I developed a ritual, and the next season came along and I again wore these lucky red undies. But except this time I didn't get asked if I was wearing them. You see, the joke had finished, it had stopped, but I had this ritual that carried on, but I'd forgotten the reason why I started doing it. I started it because it was funny, but the joke had finished. But yet I was still wearing these red undies, still fulfilling this ritual in a vain hope that maybe it did have some sort of bearing on the outcome of the game. You see, when I look at Scripture, when Jesus came to earth, Jesus witnessed a number of religious people who have found themselves in a similar position to I did. You see, they were filling so many religious rituals, but they had forgotten the reason why they were fulfilling them. They were living and trying to fulfill the law, but actually they'd forgotten why they were doing it. Jesus came and he upset all their religious rituals. You see that they'd lost their focus on relationship with God as these rituals and these laws and these regulations as a way of relationship with the Lord, and they've made these rituals as a means unto themselves. And Jesus had a massive issue with it. He came back and he tipped up tables. He called the religious leaders fools. in an attempt to take their eyes off the ritual and onto the reason for the ritual. You see, I ask myself this question: if Jesus was to come back today, and as we reflect on our churches these days, have we too also lost sight of the reason why we do rituals? Have we lost ourselves in the ritual of church, lost ourselves in the ritual of Sunday services, lost ourselves in the ritual of playing music as our primary expression of worship, and lost sight of actually what the core thing, what the core cry is, which is relationship with God, which is obedience to Jesus in the moment? You see, the important thing is not the ritual, but is the reason behind it. And when Jesus asks us to try something else, when Jesus asks us to step out of the boat, the ritual no longer becomes relevant. But you see, as long as our focus stays on the ritual and not the reason for the ritual, we will forever hold on to rituals which will become empty and null and void. So I ask again, if Jesus was to turn up today to review what church looks like, what my church looks like, what the church looks like, would he have the same reaction as he had to the Pharisees? I ask you.